I took you in. I gave you a roof over your head. I gave you a chance. Your chance is up now. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. If any of you move, kill 'em. It was only a matter of time. I told you this wasn't going to be pretty. Your time is up. Let's do it. Hey everyone, it's Sunday. It's time for What's in the Poundland bin? Oh, let's do a little bit of reggae. What's in the Poundland bin? Should we find out? Oh, come on, let's do it. Mr. Poundland bin. You're not going to give us any shit today, are you? I hope not. Okie dokie. Fingers at the ready. Let's do it. Let's have a look, see what's in you. Oh! I don't know why I make these funny noises when I do this. Oh, God. Oh, bloody hell, I think I just felt the bottom of the bean bin. Come on, get out you git. Poor blimey, about a week ago I wouldn't be bending down like this. I would have got stuck. Okie dokie, what we got? I'm going to do myself a mischief one day. Oh dear. Well, I can feel it's still got its wrapping on it, and it feels like it's got a slip on it as well. Okie dokie. Oh, this is exciting. This is the exciting part. Oh, okie dokie. They thought they could stop him. They died. Danny Trejo, Jonathan Banks from, you know, my Better Call Saul. Bullet. Yes, there's Jonathan Banks. Oh, Danny Trejo, I'm sure Lou will correct me, is Frank Bullet Marasco, the toughest undercover cop in LA. Whether busting bad guys on the streets or in the underground, nothing's off limits to get the job done. This no-holds-barred action thriller, packed with typical Trejo humour, sees the body count just keep rising as the hard-of-nails cop takes on a ruthless cartel in a race against time to save his family. Oh, that does sound good, actually. Okie dokie. Let's give this one a try. I love Machete and Machete Kills. Whatever happened to Machete in Space? Right, let's give this one a go then. I just realised something. I'm one-handed now, and I should have taken the slip off first. What a dumbass. Oh, come on, get off. Get off. I can't get the slip off. Oh, dear me. Okie dokie. Oh, there's the slip. Okie dokie. Oh, there's a 15 as well. Rental or resale? Oh, there we go. Oh, what's this? Visit us for your exclusive offers, competitions and more. My movie extras, what is it? Ooh, it's probably all out of date, but there's a code there if anybody wants it. Okie dokie. Let's do it then. There we go. In you go. Whoop. Okay, so we are sitting down comfortably and the disc is in. I've got some Coke with, with some plastic wrapping stuck to it. That's very nice. I've just had my din-dins, but I've got a banana and I've just noticed something. I put the banana down and when I picked it up, it's got a TIE Fighter sticker stuck to it. I was wondering where that had gone off the bin. There we know. Right, I better take that off before I start eating it. Oh, dear me, missus. Okie dokie, let's do it. Let's find out what a bullet does. Oh, yes.
What is it? I don't know, but it's so cool. Check this out, Grandpa.
Okay, wow. So, bullet. Yes. Oh, ooh. Some horrible. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that greasy stains on there? It came out of the wrap like that. Ew. Right. Okay. So, Bullet. What did I think of Bullet? First of all, it was actually quite a short film. I think it was about an hour and 20 minutes. Something like that. Yes, it was actually quite enjoyable. Action thriller, but kind of fast paced, so wasn't any slow moments. Pacing was really good in it. The acting was good. I'm just going to outline some of the story. So, Danny Trejo, however you pronounce it, plays Frank Marasco. He's got a nickname of Bullet. Obviously, that's the name of the film. And he's kind of an undercover Los Angeles cop that likes to get gritty. And the film starts off with a meeting in the desert, sort of like Breaking Bad style, you know, with like a camper van type of thing. He's meeting up with this bloke, kind of like exchanging money for drugs and all that kind of stuff. But he's undercover. Actually, some cops show up. Bit of a shootout. And it seems that the cops were tipped off to the meeting by Carlito Kane, the big drug crime boss, played brilliantly by Jonathan Banks. Okay, so the film sort of like skips a little bit to this young couple, you know, in their 20s, like mid-20s, getting all lovey-dovey, kind of like up in the hills, and all of a sudden this van pulls up, grabs hold of them, not the van itself, the people in the van, and they've all got hoods on. They put hoods over this couple and drag them and shove them in the back of the van. Kidnapping is at hand. Few scenes of Frank in a kickboxing match, and some scenes of San Quentin prison, where the son of Carlito Kane, Manuel Kane, is about to be executed for the murder of some cops. The kidnapped couple are also being held prisoner in exchange for like a 72-hour stay of execution of Manuel Kane. And the kidnapper is actually led by Jonathan Banks himself. And there's a shootout at this abandoned building where Jonathan Banks' Carlito Kane is like holding these Chinese bad guys, and he wants to get some information out of them. It's a pretty good shootout. Frank has also got a daughter who's actually going to like drug rehabilitation, Narcotics Anonymous, I think you call it. And he's also got a grandson which he sees from time to time. And one day, Frank gets the opportunity to take his grandson out, you know, to the playing fields with all the swings and all that kind of stuff, where all the other kids and all the other parents come. And he's distracted while he's there by some men roughing up this girl over in the distance. And as Frank rushes towards, you know, for her assistance, you kind of get the feeling, this feels like a bit of a setup. And they all kind of like play off each other, you know, like, oh no, she's just, you know, she's with us, we're just messing about. He then twigs, shit, where's my grandson? Yes, he goes back to the swings and everything. His grandson's nowhere to be seen. So his grandson has actually been kidnapped by Kane as kind of like leverage. And that building scene with the shootout, Kane manages to get away with his henchmen, and Frank's kind of like left there trying to escape, and the cops are outside, and he kind of gets nabbed, and Frank unfortunately has to give his badge in. The cops mistake him for actually killing these Chinese people in this building, and he kind of like slips into his house, and unfortunately, like, Kane and his henchmen are actually there waiting for him. There is a SWAT team on its way. Obviously, they're always bloody noisy, so you can hear them coming a mile away. But there's then a really impressive shootout. You've got fast-paced bullets. You've got slow-motion kind of Matrix-style bullets flying over shoulders and hitting the wall, that kind of thing. You've got sounds all around you, bullets going off all over the place. Kind of reminded me of the scene at the beginning of the fourth Die Hard film. Do you remember when Bruce Willis went to pick up the kid, the computer hacker, and they had that big shootout in his room, that kind of thing. Now, Jonathan Banks is Carlito, obviously being a crime boss and all that kind of shit, has a henchman, like you always do. This is a really tall German bloke. Looks a bit like Carl from Die Hard. In fact, it kind of reminded me while I was watching it that he would be the equivalent of an X Factor reject of Carl. He's that useless. Yes, so one thing leads to another. Frank manages to catch up with Carlito out in the desert. Nice desert scene with this building. They eventually have kind of like a one-on-one Mexican standoff after shooting up some of his other henchmen and that kind of stuff. But it kind of felt a little bit Breaking Bad. A bit Breaking Bad, a bit Sons of Anarchy in some certain scenes. So it was very well structured. It's a very well structured movie. I know it's a low budget movie, and like I say, it was only about an hour and 20 minutes, but it was well put together. I was not bored at all, not for one bit. The pacing was perfect. The pacing was brilliant. Everything made sense, and the good guys won. So you can't get any better than that. As for the actual disc itself, well, let's start with the acting. Danny Trejo did a really good job. No, he's not Machete by any way. This is kind of like a low-key version of him. But obviously being a cop, you know, he just can't go around chopping people's heads off with swords. But I think probably other than Machete, my other favourite character of his is Johnny 23 from Con Air. He was fantastic in that. So yeah, some of the other minor cast, such as his daughter, a few of the henchmen, some of the cops, yeah, they were pretty good, solid performances. Jonathan Banks shone like he always does. And he's got one of those faces. He's got one of those faces that looks kind of evil, like an evil villain. But he does it, he plays it really well. And in Better Call Saul, he's such a great character, such a great, lovable character. He can be kind of like brutalish in Better Call Saul, but he's never this kind of brutal. So yeah, he does a really good job. But I think probably that's why he always gets nabbed for the bad guy roles, because his face is like, it blends right into being a bad guy. And I've actually heard from a few people that have kind of like been to conventions and he's been there, or at Comic Con, that type of thing. And he's actually, as an actor himself, he's actually such a sweet guy. And he'll go out of his way to make sure everybody gets a photograph. And it'll probably be a bit of laugh having a drink with him. But yes, he plays the villain really good. Picture quality. I can't fault the picture quality, even though it may be like a low budget, straight to DVD, straight to Blu-ray affair. The picture quality was really bloody good. And it was a crisp, clean one. I couldn't see any evidence of grain. The city scenes were really nice looking, even in the darkened areas. Even the greys and the blacks, they were solid. And when it comes to the desert scenes, with all the sand and the mountains in the background, it looked beautiful. It looked absolutely beautiful. It did remind me, to some extent, of Breaking Bad, with the early scenes when they took the camper van out into the desert. It did remind me of that. Or maybe some scenes in Sons of Anarchy. But all in all, it was a solid picture. Very impressed with the picture quality. No problems, no weird effects on the screen. So yes, a very solid picture all the way through. Sound was great. The sound was great, especially the shootouts. As I say, bullets going over your shoulder. Even when someone's standing behind and they're shooting a machine gun, you hear them cock the gun and shoot the machine gun. So yeah, I can't fault the sound. There was a bit of a thumping soundtrack as well, kind of like thumping electronic, kind of grinding music, kind of. It was very effective. It was loud, so I'm sure I might hear from my neighbours tomorrow. But yes, it was a good soundtrack, really good soundtrack. So I think there's one special feature, which is just the trailer, which is a bit unfortunate, but you don't need to see the trailer, do you? Because you've just seen the film. It's region code locked B. As I say, about 94, I think it says 94 minutes on here. 94 minutes, I can't really see it. And it's DTS HD Master Audio 5.1, which upscaled to Neuro, which is why it probably sounded so good. So yes. So all in all, we had a good week this week. So yes, I would advise to watch that. If you're into things like Die Hard, John Wick, that kind of thing, then definitely give it a go. Especially if you like Danny Trejo and Machete and all stuff like that, because you really like it. And yes, really impressed. So okay, as a rating out of 10, I'm actually going to give it a solid 6. So it's above average. It's not a great film by any way, but it's certainly a very enjoyable action film. And the question now is, what are we going to do with it? Let's find out. Right, okay, so what are we going to do with Bullet? Is it going to go down there and join all of the stuff that's going to the charity shop? Or shall we put it up on the shelf with this little bundle of joyness in here? Well, it's a good film, a really good film. I enjoyed it, thoroughly enjoyed it. So far as would I see it again, I definitely would see it again, but not anytime soon. It's one of those films you watch and then you leave it a year or two and then you might want to go back to it. So it's not a long-term view. So I mean, I might be able to catch it on something like Netflix or Amazon, but so far as keeping it in my collection, I think I'm going to let it go, even though it was enjoyable as a one-time or two-time watch. So let's put it down here, but I'm not going to throw it down because it's not a shit film, so it doesn't deserve to be tossed. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's What's in the Poundland bin. Oh, yes. We had a good one this week, which does make up for some shitty weeks and some absolutely atrocious crap weeks. Naming no films. Anyway, so hope you enjoyed the video. Like it by giving it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And I shall see you next Sunday for another exciting episode of What's in the Poundland bin? Bye bye.